I really do want to review indie authors. I really want to support my own community here. Woo! Hello, my fellow book nerds, my horror fiends, my writer pals, lovers of all things spooky, artists, whatever you are. If you like horror and you like books and movies and art, this place is definitely the place for you. So welcome, my Phantom fans. No, that was stupid. I'm not going to call you Phantom fans. My Phantom friends. That's better. Welcome, my Phantom friends. I'm not that egotistical. First off, I wanted to address the last video I did. I know that it was a bit depressing, especially for my first video. I'm really not a depressing person. I'm actually pretty optimistic. But I just wanted to pour the truth out there. It was something that was really eating away at my chest, and I really just needed to get it out there. So for all you who watched my first video, thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. So on this channel, I really want to start reviewing authors and their works that I've read, especially indie authors. I really want to support indie authors. So if you're an indie author and you want to submit your work to me, or drop your book recommendations or story recommendations down in the comments, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm always looking for new reads. Keep in mind, it does take me a little while to get through the read. I'm a slow reader, but I'm a thorough reader. So yeah, I definitely, read for the enjoyment. So today I'll be reviewing 3 short stories from one of my good indie author friends, Dante Aaricks. Overall, he is a fantastic writer. His descriptions are, very vivid. He's not overly wordy. I really like how graphic he goes into descriptions, and the dialogue is generally realistic in all of his stories. So he's a great horror author. If you never heard of him, I highly suggest checking him out on Amazon. He's been with me on this author journey since I basically released my debut novel, or even before that. So yeah, definitely, if you love gore, you love graphic violence, you love horror stories that don't hold back, I highly suggest giving his stuff a read. Now, the first story I want to review by him is called No Strings Attached. And speaking of the season, it's actually a Valentine's Day story. So this one, it actually features 2 different protagonists. One's a male and one's a female. And you quickly find out that they're both psychotic. But what I really like about this story is the way that he bounces back from the perspective of the man to the perspective of the woman. And during the story, you follow these 2 individuals who are living very separate lives, and how they basically go about their sex addiction and murder addiction. Eventually, the 2 meet, and you'll quickly find out what happens when 2 sex addicts and murder addicts merge. I don't want to give any major spoilers, but it does not end pretty for either of them. So if you're looking for a great Valentine read that's horror, I highly suggest No Strings Attached by Dante Aaricks. The next story that I would like to go over is, it's a very disturbing one, and this is a major trigger warning if trafficking is, a red flag for you or a trigger for you. I mean, it's a red flag for everybody, but if trafficking is a trigger warning for you, I don't suggest reading this one. But this one, it definitely had me on the edge of my seat. So it actually follows this high school girl who's a pretty badass. I mean, she listens to old school rock. She has a punk rocker friend. They go to rock concerts all the time. And she just sounds like an overall cool girl. I mean, kind of like the girl I was in high school. But I mean, I was way less cool, but So this girl basically gets kidnapped, this mysterious van, and automatically your mind thinks, oh shit, she is being sex-trafficked. So, you know, you're very scared for this girl, and you follow her on the journey. As you read further on into the story, you will find out that the human trafficking is a little darker. It does involve some cannibalism, it involves some murder, some sacrifice. So if you like a good cannibal story, and you like following a teenage protagonist, which actually I like to follow teenage protagonists, because I just find that since I've already been through high school, I just highly relate to them. This one, it definitely is very suspenseful. It's got a gory ending, great characterization, you know, and it does have a generally happy ending. So, you know, it's not exactly how I would have ended things, because I usually end things on cliffhangers. But Dante Aaricks, I found, has generally positive endings. So, you know, that's something to look forward to at the end of the book. That is Skin Auction by Dante Aaricks. And my last and final short story review that I would like to go over is called The Cyst by Dante Aaricks. This one I actually just recently finished. If you have an intense fear of spiders, if you like gore, and if you are a vegan, oddly enough, this story is for you. This one, it features a couple with the male protagonist, and they are highly vegan. The wife is an environmentalist and an activist, and her dream is to actually vacation in the Amazon. So what does a good, loving husband do? He goes with her on this Amazon trip and funds her trip. Unfortunately for her, she actually gets bitten by some sort of species of spider that is rather large. And then, of course, in her bite, she develops the cyst. Now, one of my original concerns with this story is I was afraid it was going to end like this spot. I don't know if you've ever read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, but the spot is basically like a cyst that developed on this girl's face, and it eventually ruptured, and all of these baby spiders poured out. So I was afraid that it was just going to end like that, but thankfully it had a very different ending. The ending was action-packed. The ending definitely had a good scare. One thing that I really liked about this story was that the main protagonist grew from basically being a little bit of a wimp to being very brave and sticking up for his wife no matter what she was going through. So I really loved that about the story. And then the story, it also connected in certain foreshadowing aspects, and it had great characterization as well. The characters all had very intense personalities, but you know, other than that, it was a very good read. Definitely action-packed, a lot of gore, and it will gross you out. So, you know, if you're looking for a gross story about spiders and you have a fear, I highly suggest The Cyst by Dante Aaricks. All right, so that is my first book review for this channel. Or should I say short story review. I really do want to review indie authors. I really want to support my own community here. So if you have any story suggestions or book suggestions for me to read, please leave them down in the comments. And if you're an indie author, please give me a follow, and then I'll definitely try to reach out to you and, you know, talk to you about your books to see which books I can review. Thank you so much again for joining me on this book review, and I look forward to speaking about the next ones I read. Bye!